Officials say that firefighters did not initially see any sprinklers activate within the Medline warehouse when this fire started. Fire hydrants within the facility's yard also lacked water pressure. Crews had to hook up to the city water to fight this fire. I do want to bring in ABC 10's Becca Habegger. She joins us with more on the questions that are now being asked. Becca.
Alex, the South San Joaquin County Fire Authority chief says the fire system at this Medline warehouse was tested in January, including the fire pumps, hydrants, and alarm systems. We asked fire officials about the inspection process.
It all depends on what is actually inside of that building.
I asked fire officials, including Captain Justin Sylvia with the Sacramento Fire Department, what kind of inspections commercial warehouses are required to have in California.
Rule of thumb, it's about 1 year per business, especially for these larger warehouses.
He says state code requires most warehouses to have their fire suppression system tested once a year. That involves ensuring the sprinkler heads and valves are operational. That's typically done by a third-party private company. And every 5 years, a facility is required to have a deeper internal pipe inspection to ensure the water flow is not obstructed. Brian Bagley, South San Joaquin County Fire Authority Deputy Chief, says in this case,
the sprinkler system was tested by a sprinkler company, an alarm company, in January of this year, and it was completely signed off. However, when our crews were engaging in the firefight, they did not recognize any fire sprinkler activations at all.
He says the fire marshal on scene inspected the fire pump room and saw there was zero water pressure.
So we knew that there was no water flowing, which all of that fire pump also supplies the yard hydrants directly adjacent within the facility itself. And so that we had limited to no water coming out of those hydrants.
Crews had to hook up to the city water outside the facility, which took more time.
Every piece of that delay is going to make that fire grow that much more.
Sylvia and other experts say logistics facilities like this often have what's called high piled storage, meaning items in pallets stacked high on racks. Those items can often be highly combustible, like products made of paper or plastic. State fire code requires an extra plan for that kind of storage to help ensure a fire in one rack doesn't spread to another. But here,
the fire spread laterally from all the high rack pile storage very, very quickly, which if there were sprinkler systems activated, that would not run that fast.
He says investigators are still looking into why the fire suppression system failed after the fire pumps, hydrants, and alarm systems were tested just 6 months ago. He says the inspection and testing contractors are selected by the building owner, not the fire department, though the department does oversee and verify compliance through permit processes.
Now, this was a big building. Fire officials say there was a lot of product there to burn. And the dark color of that smoke, especially yesterday, fire officials say, is due in part to the heavy use of plastics in these products. Alex.
All right, Becca, thank you for that.